to Entrepreneurship in Pharmacy. Today is our first lecture, and today is pretty much just an introduction lecture talking about what is an entrepreneur, which I'm sure most of you know, but kind of delve into what we're going to be discussing in the course over the several next couple weeks, and also making sure you're testing to see, are you able to access the lectures. These lectures you'll be able to get through Blackboard, and you'll be able to stream these lectures and watch, whether on your mobile device or on a computer. So let's begin. To back up, I think pretty much everyone knows who I am. Dr. Mayer. I've had you in numerous different classes for this semester. I have you in Pharmacy Practice 6. So welcome to the course. This course is mainly going to be an online course, and we'll talk about that at the end. But let's talk about what is an entrepreneur. If you think about, you taking this course, obviously either A, you're interested in starting or owning your own business, or you're just trying to figure out maybe this is something for me. And so we're going to first delve into what is an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is somebody who sees their ideas as something that they would like to come to fruition. They are a leader. They want to maybe do something different in their industry. They want to look at opportunities that they could be their own boss. And so I have a couple different quotes here, and I'm not going to directly read them, but paraphrase them. The late Steve Jobs talked about our time is limited, so don't waste it living somebody else's. So one of the things that people that own their own business like doing is they can take their own ideas, not have to worry about getting approval, but sometimes you do, depending upon legalities, but you're able to implement those and see them carried out to what your dream is. The other thing, too, is this course is to help prepare you someday to possibly be an entrepreneur, to be your own boss, and that might not happen directly right out of college due to loans and other things you want to get situated, but hopefully this course, and if you stay on for the next course, it'll allow you to start to sort out what are those ideas and dreams that you see you'd like to do someday, and hopefully you'll keep those with you as you begin your first job or two, and then someday be able to see your dreams come true. So let's start out the most boring way we could look at what is an entrepreneur, and that is look at some definitions. But what we wanted to do during this time of what we look at what is an entrepreneur, start taking some, thoughts to yourself. This course is, like I said, is a course for you to develop your skills and see whether or not I would like to be my own boss, my own owner of some type of pharmacy business someday. Most entrepreneurs are initiative taking. Most entrepreneurs are able to organize or reorganize. And everybody's organizational structure, although it may seem unorthodox to some, can be the way they get successful. Most entrepreneurs will fail at some time. And how good are you at failing and willing to accept the risk of failure and also learning from your failures? As I said, there's many definitions of entrepreneurism. The business definition is a two-sided point of view. The businessman looks as an entrepreneur, appears as a threat, as an aggressive competitor. They're willing to try new things. Another is an entrepreneur is an ally. It is somebody that is revered in the community, somebody who helps to create businesses so others may have jobs and be able to take care of people that job provides. Other definitions of entrepreneurism is the economist definition, that you owning your own business, not only are you living out your own dreams, but you're able to bring resources, materials, and other assets that bring value to your community, to your industry in new, innovative ways. Think about other businesses that are out there. There's many businesses in computers, phones, technology, cars, and how do those different businesses led by those entrepreneurs, how they contributed and changed the way different things have occurred. The psychologist's definition of an entrepreneur is a person driven by certain focus that needs to obtain something to experiment, to accomplish, or perhaps escape authority of others. And it is true that entrepreneurs, one of the things that you will do is either create wealth for yourself or create wealth for others by willing to take risks. But willing to take risks, you may change the course of your industry. You may change the way healthcare is delivered. You may change how a product or a service is delivered. And the product or the service may not be new or unique. But what sets you apart from a traditional business is you're willing to push the boundaries, looking at different ways things can be done, and being able to allocate the resources to see that new idea successfully carried out. There's numerous different articles out there of describing who somebody is in the workforce. And there are people out there in the workforce who are considered finders. Those are people that are constantly having new ideas. And those new ideas they constantly are trying in different businesses that they create. If you ever watch the show Shark Tank, you see that there's people all the time that fall into this finders category, trying to create the new revolutionary discovery. Others are binders. And you could say community pharmacists are binders. That to be able to survive, especially independent pharmacists, that they have learned how to be creative, innovative, adapted to the different obstacles that have been brought before them. Minders have a vision. They're hard selling ideas and recognition of strengths and weaknesses. Most all successful entrepreneurs have some of those characteristics within them. But where do entrepreneurs come from? And are you an entrepreneur? A lot of entrepreneurs come from families that already own their own businesses, coming from parents there. A lot of entrepreneurs come from immigrants, parents who were born abroad, who saw good hard work ethic can get them success. Educational level. It is not always the person at the top of their class who has the 4.0 is the one who's a successful entrepreneur. Sometimes those people are there's no knock against getting good grades, but sometimes they are so focused on tasks and following tasks that they're not allowed to dream and be innovative. Though there are many who are also 4.0s that have been successful entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs' highest peaks are usually either in their later life or they are a quick innovator in their early life. But you can become an entrepreneur at any time in your life. There's no set or boundaries on that. But what makes an entrepreneur successful? You either today or somewhere in the future become a better planner. You have a desire to achieve, that you want to see whatever you create come to fruition. You're not going to take no for an answer. You're also an optimist, that in times where things look bleak, negative, all that can't be done, you believe it can be. Walt Disney was fired from his first job from a newspaper and said he didn't have any creative ideas. Many entrepreneurs have gone bankrupt. Many entrepreneurs have failed, but their optimism and their being able to nurture and have a compassionate attitude have led them there. Most entrepreneurs are hard workers. Sometimes maybe working, too hard, all right? But that allows them to be successful. Entrepreneurs are willing to accept the responsibility, whether it's good or bad. Entrepreneurs, although they want to be able to take care of patients and customers, have to be profit oriented or they will not stay in business. And most entrepreneurs are a great self-organizer and always looking for how can they improve themselves. Entrepreneurs are usually their hardest critic. I also leave you with a quote on this slide that is my favorite. Entrepreneurship is not easy. And this quote is, entrepreneurs is living a few years of your life like most people won't, where you'll work long hours, greater than 40 hours a week, that you're willing to take risks. But those risks do pay off if you're successful. And so an entrepreneur is living a few years of your life like most other people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. So, are entrepreneur companies relevant today? They are. There's always new startups. And then the question is there entrepreneurship in pharmacy? Obviously, we wouldn't be having this course if there wasn't, but there's always new ways. We are a constantly changing healthcare system, and there's new opportunities of where pharmacy can be. And you also have to look at where are those business opportunities and how can you get there. This course not only is going to allow you to explore your ideas, but also give you the hardcore reality of what financial, resources are you going to need? How are you going to plan this for this entrepreneurship idea to be successful? So the question is, why pharmacy ownership? Most people that go into any business have a goal of why they want to go in business. But most time people go into business because they want to solve a problem. They want to be able to make their customer, their patient, to feel good, and they want to help their problems. And that's what most customers want. The other thing is in pharmacy ownership, where it has been successful, is pharmacy owners have been able to focus on narrow geographic niches. Most of the time, you'll see independent pharmacists often active in their local organizations, more familiar with the neighbor's needs and interests than are employees of large chains. Their closeness to their community is what allows to generate that goodwill and to create that loyalty base that other competitive firms can't do. If you study the history of a lot of different pharmacy businesses, those were originally discovered by and started by pharmacy entrepreneurs. Doing home health with total parental nutrition, the creation of computers that we use today for medication profiles originated from pharmacies taking the old way where we just had to record it on the prescript before we had computers and creating their own type of filing system to track medications and do medication reconciliation. Most independent pharmacies led the way in counseling of patients. Pharmacists in independent pharmacy led the way for the development of MTM. Specialty pharmacy arose out of that. One of the first specialty pharmacies arose out of a small pharmacy in the Monroeville area, and they saw a need that patients weren't able to acquire certain drugs, especially transplant drugs, when transplant had become so big in Pittsburgh. A lot of these companies grew and eventually either became a corporation or sold off, but they all started as an entrepreneur in an independent pharmacy. And there's no crime in growing a business and saying someday I'd like to sell this business, and that's okay too. But the key, characteristics of an entrepreneur is wanting to bring some type of value that's new to their industry that they want to pursue. Some facts of small business in the U.S. 87% of all U.S. businesses employ fewer than 20 employees. Greater than 30% of all workers are in a business with less than 20 employees. And 56% of workers are in businesses with less than 100 employees. Small business is what runs America, even though the corporate world sometimes would make you think otherwise. But the size of an average business is decreasing, more niche type of businesses. And so the one thing that we will talk about later this semester is how do you hire and retain employees? How do you train employees, which is a key edge to small businesses. The other key edge is being small, you become more adaptable, willing to change very quickly than a large corporation. 60% of firms who successfully export abroad are small businesses employing less than 100 workers. Small businesses have grown by 40% since the 1990s. In the 1970s, though, this is where there is a change, is in pharmacy, a majority of students went into owning their own type of business. But this has stagnated over the years, and some may think that you can't own your own business in pharmacy anymore. And it's been difficulty accepting the revival of entrepreneurship, the change in drug distribution, the big change in third-party control, PBM, cut and reimbursements, has maybe put a stagnant. Pharmacy schools don't seem to promote independent pharmacy ownership as much anymore. And that this is where this course comes into. This course is designed to not only explore if you wanted to own your own independent pharmacy, such as a traditional pharmacy, but this course will allow you to explore what are the key components that I need to start any type of pharmacy business. Over the 5 to 6 years that this course has been in existence, I've had the experience of with numerous pharmacy students in helping them develop their business ideas, business plans, and not all of them were the traditional pharmacy that we think of today. Multiple schools of pharmacy across the country have started their own entrepreneur courses, and many more besides this list exist. And so it was, I guess, almost close to 10 years ago that we, the dean here at the School of Pharmacy Duquesne, put an initiative for us to have an entrepreneur program. So, one of the things we'll explore this semester is who are entrepreneurs? Where do they come from? Are they born and made? When is the right time? How is it done? And we'll walk through this semester and next, if you stay on, the step-by-steps you need to know to be a successful pharmacy business, either traditional or non-traditional business. One of the things hopefully this semester you'll explore is what is your own personal attributes that you believe that you can be a successful entrepreneur. The other thing is you'll want to make decisions over this semester and next of, when do you think it'll be suitable for you to own and operate your own practice if this is a dream of yours. This course will allow you to also project and analyze what do you think the future of entrepreneurship is in the pharmacy profession, and hopefully you'll come to see that it can be done. So, this is an old quote that I've carried with me since high school, and it's from the book Soundings, and the author Jacob Neusner. And he writes, "Much that you learn today won't be true 5 years from now. Many things you haven't heard today will be important 5, 10 years ahead. If I teach you something supposedly relevant, I'm probably soon to guarantee irrelevance. But if I teach you how to work, to have good attitudes, to take responsibility of your own ideas, to communicate and to think a problem through, no matter what the subject matter I use in order to get these basic skills of mind and intellect across, then I'm giving you something you can use for a very long time. Those skills will never change." And that is what this course is about. Course is about teaching you the core elements you need to know about owning your own pharmacy business or starting your own pharmacy business or starting any other type of business in general. So here's 8 questions to ask yourself before thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. You don't have to have the answers today, but over this semester and next, these are things you want to consider. What are my true intentions and motivation of why I'd want to own my own business? This needs to be strong because when you're in the rough times, it's going to be very easy to quit, to sell, declare bankruptcy. This is where an entrepreneur digs their heels in the dirt and figures out, how am I going to get to the goal that I've always dreamed of? What is my true reason of wanting to do this? And I'll give you a hint. You will be rewarded financially, but finances should not be the first number one driven thing. Do I have a personal vision? In order for things to go smoothly, our personal and professional lives need to be in a comfortable alignment. Your business venture needs to incorporate what you love to do, what you enjoy, and who you are. When you're making a conscious decision to become an entrepreneur, you need to make sure that your personal vision has a place for that business and can make adjustments if needed. Nobody wants to have a job for the rest of their life that they hate doing, or they have no desire to wake up every morning. This is where your ideas, this is why people do become wanting to be their own boss, their own entrepreneur, because they believe in their dreams. How will my family feel about me starting a business? How will my support circle feel about this? And your support circle will change. Right now, it might be just your mom and dad, brother and sister. But in 5 or 6 years, it might be a spouse. You might have a family of your own. And how will they feel? These are decisions that you can't definitely make just right today. But these are things that if this is a dream of yours, you need to share that with everybody so that they can be your support and understand where you're going and what you want to do. Do I have the right personality? Not everybody is capable of being a great entrepreneur. Great ideas and passion is awesome, and I'll promote it and talk about it a lot. But that is not necessarily a successful entrepreneur. Many people can have great ideas and passion, but these are other skills either A, you're born with, but they can be developed and honed in over time. Thinking ability, ability to think, I hate to use the cliche, but out of the box, to look at things from different angles, to accept constructive criticism. Communication ability, how do you channel your ideas to your employees, to your customers, to also to the bank or your lenders? How do you see technology as helping you bring your ideas? Human relationships. If you don't like people, owning your own business is probably a terrible idea. Because even if maybe your business idea is not with the direct public, you have to deal with employees problems. You have to deal with, outside competition, different vendors. And there has to be this drive that every day you don't always want to come to work, but hopefully 99.9% of the time you do. What is your clear business idea? This idea should be clear and well defined. That is why we do business planning, strategic planning, which we'll talk about this semester and next. You start by defining concepts. Just get a plain notebook and start writing down ideas. What do you want to do? What service and products are you going to be involved in? And you'll analyze both financially, market-wise, strategically, what are the advantages and the benefits your business will provide. What would you like to do for the rest of my life? When you think of your ideal work, what comes to mind? Was there something you always wanted to do but didn't get the chance to follow through? You'll want to connect your ideals. The other thing that this course is going to do is allow to take your ideas that you've learned from pharmacy, whether it's clinical skills, practice skills, and tie that into business knowledge. And we're going to go over this semester financials and how to financially plan. And not only would this help with your business, but maybe even help you personally as you begin your professional career in the near future. What about my finances? How do I get startup capital? We'll explore this. Most businesses with a good marketing, strategic, financial plan should be able to break even in 12 to 8 months, but you'll need startup capital and somebody to be a lender to get you through those early months. It may take 2 to 3 years to achieve profits. But as I said earlier, it's those early years where you have to work hard, but with the right planning tools, you can be successful earlier than later. There's all these different sayings in entrepreneurship, but I'll just give you a couple of the cliches. Output should exceed input. We have not fulfilled our obligations to the public if we fail. The old Nike saying, just go out and do it. Doing things in a simple way, regularly, never neglecting to do them. Success is doing the common things uncommonly well. As I said, some great entrepreneurs didn't have the greatest new ideas, they just knew how to do it better. Think of different restaurants, different services you use. Why do you pick one over the other? What type of things did that business draw you to them? Through the fear of failure, some people create their own hell. That is one thing an entrepreneur is. They're not afraid of failure. Sure, it stinks when you fail, but you need to figure out, how do I bail myself out and learn from that failure and not wallow in my own tears, but figure out a way to be successful. Entrepreneurs usually focus on building a service-oriented industry for clients. And there's room for many innovators in the pharmacy industry. Think to yourself, between this time and when we talk live, what are some ideas for the future of pharmacy? What areas do you think there is for entrepreneurship, new ideas in pharmacy? These we will explore this semester and next, but as we have future lectures about niches in pharmacy, you'll be able to explore those ideas. And as I said before, most successful practices that exist today, and even though they may be chain related, such as specialty pharmacy, long term care pharmacy, sports medicine, total parental nutrition, arose out of independent entrepreneurs. So when you're searching for your niche, the real opportunity lies with you. Are you a self starter? How do you feel about others? Can you lead others? Can you take responsibility? Are you a good organizer? Are you a good worker already? Not willing to cut corners? Can you make decisions? Can people trust what you say? It's not always what you say, it's the actions you do that shows who you are. Can you stick with it? And we need to maintain our health, both mentally, physically, and financially to be successful. So how do you prepare for an entrepreneur career? Obviously, some of these may be already inborn traits, but through learning, employment, working for companies that are entrepreneurs, and sometimes we need to locate where we can succeed. And then read. And that is what I will provide to you this semester, lectures and readings to help you explore this. What organizations do you belong to that focus on entrepreneurship? They don't necessarily have to be pharmacy. And then always teaching yourself to think big. So let's just look at independent pharmacy as one. Mark Twain's favorite saying, "The rumors of my death have always been greatly exaggerated." And independent pharmacy, although not as abundant as it once was, we still have 20-some thousand stores that exist all across the country. And you see, Pennsylvania still ranks in the top 5. Pennsylvania, although by looking at this map, have high locations near both Philly and Pittsburgh, strategically throughout the map, some of its success has been in the rural areas of Pennsylvania. Independents dispense just as, a ton of prescriptions just like the chains. The one thing independents right now, about 92% of their sales are tied to the prescriptions, but that is also slowly evolving as independents are trying to develop other enhanced pharmacy services. Average independent pharmacy sells about $3.89 million in sales. Your net margin usually is anywhere from 1 to close to 3%. And even though that is a very large margin for net of what you take home based on that many $1 million in sales, it's still a pretty good business. 25% of independent owners have ownership in 2 or more pharmacies. There's opportunities to have multiple businesses. There's advantages and disadvantages, and we'll explore that this semester. There's a good percentage of pharmacy owners that are over the age of 50. So there's plenty of opportunities to either purchase an already existing business, which allow you to be successful early on. And we're going to talk about that later in the semester, how to evaluate businesses. But there's also the future of pharmacies evolving. We're seeing a change in the traditional way we get paid to a value-based payment system. We're seeing other chains consolidate, healthcare systems consolidate. And so if you figure and think about your pharmacy ideas, as long as they're providing value in healthcare, they should be successful. So you need to think about, what does your pharmacy, what type of business do you want? Do you want to be more into preventive health like immunization? Do you want to focus on adherence programs? Get more into the clinical realm with medication therapy type of processes? The sky's the limit of what you can do with this. Because, as I said before, your initial reason to be an entrepreneur should not be financial, but there is opportunities. Because working as a staff pharmacist for a chain, you're gonna reach a point where you start out very well, but the ladder to move up is very limited unless you want to get into management, and that might be where you want to go. But a lot of times, if you're going to get into management, you may get frustrated because you find out, I'm not my own boss. And what pharmacy owners, by owning your own pharmacy, yes, there's risk, but you are your own boss, and there's opportunities to at least double what you will make as a staff pharmacist. And there's a lot of other perks that can go along with that that can allow you to be able to provide for yourself, your family, and your loved ones around you. So, the one thing about being your own owner, you're starting your own business, some people may say that's not real good job security, but if you're good at it, it can be. Because the only person that can fire you is yourself. Great financial reward, as I said, as the prior slide, opportunities abound. The freedom to practice your own way, to be your own boss. Also to be a member of your community, a leader, helping solve people's problems and making them feel good. You can expand and grow when opportunity arises, and you get to see the results of your actions and your decisions. And for a lot, that is the best way to live. There's multiple ways for ownership: starting a new practice, buying an existing practice, inheriting one. All have the need for financial resources and for strategic planning, which we will talk about this semester. So what type of pharmacy business do you want? There's the traditional community pharmacy practice, institutional setting type of practice such as long-term care, consulting, technology. The biggest one you always have to think about when we'll talk about this semester, when we talk about your pharmacy ideas, is I have you explore what those ideas are first, putting them on paper, and then you need to start to think to yourself, how can those ideas make money? Obviously, the key that you need to be able to do is a business plan. That is something that we will talk about and go through next semester for you and help you see that to fruition. So, I told you this lecture would be short and brief, but I want to kind of go over the syllabus. The syllabus each week, there will be a lecture posted either Tuesday evening, no later than Wednesday morning, and the majority of these will be taped sessions. But although these tape sessions will provide you, I want to be able to get to know you and get some feedback. So we will have 2 individual meetings. Those meetings will explore to you about what are your ideas, what type of businesses have you looked at wanting to get into pharmacy. We will do chat sessions, especially when we do the financial exercises for that. And then finally at the end, we'll be doing an oral presentation that you will be evaluating a pharmacy and presenting what you would do with that. Our technology we're going to be using is GoToMeeting and GoToTraining, and they are fairly easy to be able to be done. They can be done on a computer or even a tablet or smartphone type of device, and that is the layout of the course. So one of the things I also will be doing is posting different exercises pretty much almost every week. Some of these will be analyzing calculations, but the first exercise I have for you this week is, what do you want to learn from this class, and why do I think I want to be an entrepreneur? So I'm only looking for a 1-page paper, and this paper is to kind of get to know where you're sitting at from your point of view. Why did you choose to take this class? Besides, it's an elective, there's no exams, but this is a learning class. Next semester, we have you do the business plan if you stay on for the concentration. But this class is a class that you're going to learn the skills you need to start your own business and how to get there. And those skills, as I said, things can change about businesses over time, but the core skills that we teach you, hopefully you'll be able to apply those to numerous type of businesses. My very first class that I taught, I have 2 people, one in the first class and one in the third class, that actually now own their own businesses. And I've heard from them, talked to them numerous times, and they've done very well and continue to do well. So I welcome you to this course. I thank you for wanting to take this course, and I look forward to teaching you in the weeks ahead. So I will be posting this reflection question on Blackboard for a way to upload it, and please have it to me about a week from today. Thank you very much, and take care.